the solutions the customer are needing. So we were working very close to the customers and looking in the application how to improve the existing technologies and how to further tune the materials the customers are producing. We're supporting the customers all around the globe, so we are really operating on all continents and in different kind of companies. And in the end, we were very much focused to really bring the fitting solution to each customer. Now, to give you an idea where our sites are located, so you see they're all spread all over the globe, from Americas over Europe to Asia. And we also have a strong footprint in India. So we have on one hand sales locations in Mumbai and also in Delhi. But on the other hand, we also very much focused on technology and innovation. So we have a corporate research center in Bangalore where we are working on new groundbreaking technologies. And the products which are supplied to the Indian markets are being produced in Chennai. So we have also a production facility and also application development center in Chennai to really support the Indian market with the products which are required in this area. Now, looking in the polyurethane additive perspective, we're providing a huge variety of products. They are either under the brand name, which has a long legacy, Niax, or recently what you see here also on the lower right-hand side, we also have Geocell products, which is our brand name for products being supplied in mattress in a box application. Now, coming back to the different products we are supplying to the market, very big share, as we are a silicon producing company, are silicon surfactants, which are very important to produce a very good flexible slabstock form. Then we are supplying the market with amine catalysts, but also with metal-based catalysts. And then there's a huge variety of different kind of additives and catalysts, which can further help in an existing formulation to solve problems, to improve the properties. And I will spend also a couple of words on this on the next slide. So in terms of innovation, we have different focus areas where we develop new products and where we're focusing on to improve the existing portfolio, which is already there. One key point is sustainability. And one point where you can look at sustainability is lowering the emission, which is coming out of the foam. And a big impact has, for example, the catalyst package which is being used. And there a newest development is, for example, the Niax amine catalyst EF230. And additionally, we have a new metal catalyst called Niax Catalyst S30. And there will be more details about this in the next upcoming slides. Then to improve the comfort and the quality of the foam, there are different kind of silicons which can help you on that end. So there's the Niax Silicon L540AP and the Niax Silicon L645, which will be also more discussed in this presentation. And there's, for example, also the Geocell Silicon L884, which is the designed silicon to improve the recovery after compression of the foam, which can help you to use mattresses in a compressed state and ship to the customers in the so-called area of mattress in a box. Then there's a variety of products which can be used to further fine-tune the processing and the properties of the foams on different ends. So there's, for example, the cell regulator Geocell Silicon L450. Then there are different zeolite modifiers, the GM206 and GM225, which can help you on different ends. For example, the GM225 is a very good product to minimize the density and hardness distribution in a foam block. And then there's, for example, GM280, which is a design product to further improve the cold flow issue faced with high density foams, for example, with high resilience foam. And then on the last end, that is also always a requirement in the market, and it's changing the market if there are no new regulatory changes on chemicals which are being used in the formulation to produce flexible polyurethane foams. And one of the latest ones here were the new regulation of 2-ethylhexanoic acid, being categorized as Reprotox category 1B, which thereby impacting the use of stannous octreate in a certified grade. And our technologies and response to that are new catalysts called GeoCell Catalyst D25 and D10. So whenever a product is being sold in certified grades, for example, under CertiPure labeling or under IKEA labeling, thereby you need to follow the rules and use 2HA-free catalyst, and I will have more information about this on the upcoming slides. Now coming to the products, I will discuss more in detail. So as mentioned, there will be the silicon surfactants L548P and L645, and which can help you on different ends to improve your processing and the properties of your foam. Then I will jump to the Narex amine catalyst EF230, which is a low emission amine catalyst, and I will give you some details in comparison to an existing grade in the market. Then going to the other perspective of catalyst package, so to the metal catalyst, talking about GeoCell Catalyst S30 as well as GeoCell Catalyst D25 and D10. Now going to the Neox Silicon L548P. In general, if you look at a silicon surfactant, there are different parameters which the silicon surfactant is influencing and which needs to be optimized to have really a good processing and good properties of the foam. So there's on one hand the stabilization, which is the silicon surfactant is bringing, because if you wouldn't use a silicon surfactant at all, the foam would be just collapsing. On the other hand, you don't want to have too much stabilizing, because otherwise the foam would be too closed, and in a worst case, the foam will shrink. So you need to balance the stabilization as well as cell opening. And the last aspect, so the third aspect where big impact is by the silicon surfactant, is the cell regulation. So how fine the cell structure will be and how good distributed over the whole surface of the foam and the foam block, which will be directly correlated as also to the hand feel of the foam surface. Now coming to the L540, this is a silicon surfactant having a medium potency, so a middle stabilizing power, which gives you the big benefit to have a grade which has a very wide processing latitude. So it can be used in a very broad range of densities. So going from very low densities, talking about already 10 kgs per cubic meter, to very high densities, so going above 50 kg per cubic meter. So you can have one silicon solution to feed a broad variety of conventional foam production. So you don't need to switch between the different grades. So that brings you a big benefit. It can be used in pure and highly filled foam solutions. So that really was shown in industrial trials that this product works really well, providing very fine and very open cell structure. And this structure brings the benefit that it's non-hydrolyzable, which means that you can also put it, if you have the requirement or you want to use it, in a water amine blend, that it's stable. So it will not degrade under these hydrolytic conditions. And also the viscosity is designed in a way that it gives you at the beginning of the mixing process of the different formulation ingredients together, a good nucleation of air into the liquid phase, and thereby giving you a very good cell structure. This product was tested in the market in different kind of forming machines, and in all of the different kinds, also high and low pressure, it turned out to work in a very good way, with using these products in a, as said, very broad range of densities. Now going from L540AP to L645, this is a product which has a bit other purpose than the L540AP, because if we look into foams which are generally, PU foam generally tends to be highly flammable, having a high surface area, being an organic material, it in contact to fire, it will very fast burn. So if you want to have a foam which can resist to a better extent or has a better flammability properties and a good flame retardancy, you need to balance different parameters. That will be, on one hand, you need to use a special polyol, so a combustion modified ether polyol. You would put flame retardants, liquid and solid ones, depending how stringent the flame testings for the method are you want to pass. And then also the silicon surfactant has a big impact on the flammability, because it's on the surface of the polymeric material and will be the first in contact to the flame. And the L645 is designed in a way to minimize the flammability of the foam. So comparing to traditional silicon surfactant, this will help you to minimize the required liquid flame retardant being used in the formulation. Was shown to be roughly between 10 to 20%, really depends on the formulation. And still, by using this silicon surfactant, you attain a foam with very fine and open cell structure. And also the viscosity again is in a way that you have a good nucleation of air during the mixing process. And this grade can be used to really produce conventional foam, flame retardant foam, and can also be used in flame lamination foam if you want to produce these kind of foam grades. Now going from the silicon surfactant to the catalyst, so the amine catalyst, talking about amine catalyst EF230. In general, emissions are correlated strongly to the used amine in the package. Also the smell of the foam will be strongly correlated to the used amine in your formulation package. And the NEAX catalyst EF230 is a response to have a low emission grade, which still gives you very high reactivity and being balanced between the blow and gel reaction, which are happening during the polymerization process, and helps you thereby to lower the volatile organic compound emissions of the final foam, which are generally correlated to TDA or BDME, which are general used gel or amine-based catalyst to produce the foam. This was also the data shown here was evaluated in different kind of density grades. So here you see the formulation in which the EF230 was compared to a non-low emission grade, so to the A230 in a density of 15, 25, and 35. All this was tested in combination with L580 as the silicon surfactant and stannous octreate as the metal gel catalyst. Now looking in the density of 15, if we compare the non-low emission grade A230 to EF230, and looking also at the rise profile, what you see is that with the EF230 you will even have a bit shorter rise time, so faster reactivity. Final height will be the same. Also in terms of efficiency of foam height, there will be no difference between the EF230 and the A230, and you will have the benefit. You will have the benefit that you have a more open foam, so a higher burstability of the foam, which is very good to have if you want to have a foam which gives you a good temperature and airflow parameter in the foam for the body control or body temperature control of the used foam, for example, if it's used in a mattress. Now in the density of 25, what you see is we are very much aligned between the reactivities of the A230, so the non-low emission grade, and the EF230. Potency-wise, so on the height is also the same. And again, we see the impact that you have a bit more open form, so higher breathability with the EF230. Now, if you see the impact on the VOCs, with the A230, we are around 157 ppm of VOCs measured, and with the EF230, you lower it to a 29. And also the fog being measured is reduced by half, so from around 15 to 7 ppm. So really, this product can help you to exchange existing non-low emission amine grades and lower the VOCs which are coming out of the produced polyurethane foam. Finally, in a bit higher density, so in a density of 35 at the same use level, what you see is a bit shorter reaction time. The fine height is a bit less, so it might be that you need to increase a bit more the content of the EF230. You see that in this density, and this formulation being used for a density of 35, the airflow is way higher in comparison to A230. So in that case, the EF230 provides way more blowing effect and an increased cell opening of the foam, which is generally very good to produce very good foam for good, as said, body temperature control on the mattress. Then going from the amine catalyst to the metal catalyst, going to a new product, GeoCell Catalyst S30. This is a new strong metal-based gel catalyst which can be used as a replacement for stannous octane. It was shown to being used on an industrial scale in densities of working wire and densities from 18 to 50. It works both in conventional as well as highly filled foams. The rates of the use level is quite similar to the most applied metal catalyst stannous octane. In comparison, by using S30 and comparing with stannous octane, you get better firmness and tensile strength, so also pointing to better durability of the foam. And in high filled form, it even shows to minimize defects in the foam, so splits, cuts, and cracks. And this product will also help you to reduce the 2-ethyl hexanoic acid emissions while changing from stannous octane to a GeoCell Catalyst S30. Now looking at the industrial scale comparison between stannous octane replacing with GeoCell Catalyst S30, here you see the formulation which were being used. The difference will be here the use level of water, change in the densities. You see it's 40 parts of filler were being used in this formulation. And to really get close to the properties changing between stannous octane and S30, we need to raise around 6.6% were applied to get there. And in a density of 28, you see we are very close in properties, so density is not much change happening. Airflow will be the same. You will have a bit softer foam in that case. The tear strength will be improved, and also the compression set will be in the same ballpark, considering the standard deviation you have between the different measured foam samples from this trial. Then in a density of 32, around 32, again, a raise around 6.6%. You see a similar effect being in the same ballpark of density. Airflow will be very close to each other, same hardness. Tear strength, again, improved. And also, you were very much in the same compression set area considering the standard deviation. Finally, in a density of 38, again, doing the same raise just for comparative reasons, you see that probably even less raising of the level would have been possible considering the impact on the airflow, so being lower in airflow here and thereby correlated higher hardness. So in higher densities, there would be less adjustment in comparison between stannous octide and the S30. Other R parameters are very much aligned. Again, better tear strength in that case. And also in terms of compression set, there's not much a big difference. That's a bit higher if you can even consider the standard deviation, but that can be correlated to the airflow and can be adjusted by lowering the level of the S30 and going close to the same airflow areas as being used with the stannous octave. Now, in the beginning of the presentation, I was mentioning that there are new regulations by the ECHA on 2-ethylhexanoic acids, and we have solutions to replace the stannous octave and fully replace 2-ethylhexanoic acid. That's used the catalyst D25 and D10. So these grades are designed to really get you the very close gelling effect to the stannous octave. Fully replacing 2-ethylhexanoic acid. One point I need to mention for the D25 is that it has higher viscosity in comparison to stannous octave, so being around 1,800 to 2,000 centistock in comparison to the stannous octave being around 400 centistock. So special setup of pumps and pipes will be required for the fitting dosing of the D25. Now, in comparison, what needs to be done would really get to the same performance. This is here now in comparative basis in a density around 25 using 4 parts of water in the formulation. What you need to do is a 5% raise of the metal catalyst, so of the D25 in comparison to the stannous octave. And additionally, to counterbalancing the gelling effect, you need to raise a bit the blow catalyst and the total amine catalyst by 25%. By doing this, you get the same reactivity, same rise, same density, airflow in the same ballpark, hardness in the same area. So by this adjustment, you really get the same properties of the stannous octave by using the D25 as a replacement by just a minor adjustment of the catalyst package. Then there's another solution, the so-called GeoCell Catalyst D10, which is based on a very similar catalyst technology, but providing you the benefit being lower in viscosity, so it will be more feasible to use the existing setup, which is used for stannous octave. The viscosity will be now here around 750 centistocks, which is way closer to the existing viscosity of the stannous octave and way lower as the viscosity of the D25. So this is a grade which can be used as a closer replacement with the existing setup for stannous octave to avoid emissions and the usage of 2-ethylhexanoic acid in the production of flexible polyurethane foam. Now, this is here a comparison on industrial trial in a box foam application at a customer. What you see is here we had tested in density 17, 22, 30, and 43. The adjustment which were being done to get close to the properties in the different densities are shown here. So you see in density of 17, what was done is a 10% raise of the mass used of the D10 in comparison to stannous octave, and also an adjustment of the catalyst package by adding blow catalyst by 25%. By doing this in a density of 17, you get quite close to the existing rise time, so this is very close to the reactivity. Foam block height will be the same. Density rise, we are also very close. Airflow is still a bit low, but very close. Elongation is improved, tear is improved, so this is what we see by using this. And also in terms of compression set, we are in the same ballpark, just doing this adjustment in the density range. Then in a density of 22, here you see the adjustment again, a 10% raise in this density, and then the raise in the amine catalyst package. So you always need to do this in parallel. By doing this, again, you get quite close to the existing rise profile and rise time. Block height is in the same ballpark. Also density, airflow-wise, it's again a bit lower, but in the same range. And what you see again is an improvement in elongation and tear properties, so better durability of the foam. And again, also in terms of compression and resiliency and all other parameters, that's very close, replacing the stannous octioid by the D10. Now going to a density of 30, you need no waste of the metal catalyst, so the same use level. You just need to counterbalance with the gelling effect of the metal catalyst by increasing the amine catalyst package, thereby really getting again close to the properties. You see, probably a bit of waste could have been done with the D10, but you're very close in terms of density, 1 kg difference, so minor adjustment probably needs to be done here. Again, same tendency, improvement in tear and elongation properties, and also all the other parameters are in line. In a density of 43, you can even lower the use level of the D10 in comparison to the stannous octioid by 7%, while increasing a bit the amine catalyst package, getting to the same reaction profile. In terms of density, it's even a bit lower. Sorry, it's a bit higher. But then the tear tensile elongation properties, still to repeat, also here in this density range, you see the same tendency improving these properties, so improving the durability of the foam, and still not hampering on other parameters. So also, again, recovery of the foam will be very good. By replacing the stannous octioid with the D10. So showing you the different products we added new to the portfolio. I would like to mention what brings this in the value chain and the different kind of players at the different stages. So the foam manufacturer can benefit by using these grades with lower emissions, having broad processing latitude, especially applying, for example, the L540 AP. You have good property distribution over the whole foam block, and you saw that there are even products to improve the airflow, so making more open foam, which can help you to further tune the temperature control and body temperature control in a mattress. Then buying the foam being produced with these additives, the mattress manufacturer gets good durability of the foam, good recovery, which is important, especially in a compressed state, and can produce a wide variety of densities, foam grades, by using these grades. And finally, the end customer can buy a product with minimized impact on health and environment, with lower emission grades and still having high quality foam. So this is what in general, the NEX additives and the GeoCell additives can bring you. And I just presented to you a selection of the products. So if you're further interested in the other types of products we have, you can find the brochures online or on the Momentive webpage. You can use the polyurethane additive guide to select products you're interested in and text to us and ask us questions about it, and also dedicated products for matters in a box. And then thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward for your question.
Hello. So are there any questions from the participants?
Yeah. Yeah, I have a question. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear. Okay. I found in one of your slides that you had mentioned L645 is being
Yes.
used for FR foams.
Yes.
And you also mentioned that somewhere between 10 to 20%, there's a reduction of the FR content. Is that correct?
Yes, I mean, it depends on the formulation, but in general, if you would replace, if in the existing formulation, a conventional silicon surfactant is being used, now changing to this specially designed FR silicon, you can roughly, and that's just a number, it really depends on the formulation, which polyol you're already using, which number or how high is the quantity of liquid flame retardant being used, roughly 10 to 20%. So it will minimize your flammability, and then it depends on which testing method you need to pass and what you want to, how much you want to minimize the flammability.
So when you have tested this, against which all flammability standards has it passed? Has it passed, for example, EN 45545-2?
So yeah, it was tested in different testings, but as said, it's not only the silicon, it's a combination of the three, right? The combustion modified polyol, the flame retardant, and the silicon. When you already have the CME polyol and the flame retardant in your formulation, then the A645 will test this test, yeah.
So are there any specific standards against which it has been tested and proven?
It works also for Quip 5, there, which is more stringent, but then you also need more flame retardant. California 117, and I think for the Indian market, I think that was also shown that it is working in to test or to pass the methods. But as being mentioned, that is really also a question of the already existing formulation. But there's something we can further help if this is a challenge to fine tune the formulation in combination with the silicon surfactant.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so there is another question. What is the FR optimization percentage by using L645 for FMVSS 302?
So in comparison to which product?
L645, he is
Yes.
asking.
In generally, this is a product which can help, but it's not like it will solve all issues. It's really depending on the formulation you have. This can further help you, as being mentioned, to minimize the liquid flame retardant. But it's not that, depending on the testing, you even need no liquid flame retardant, but it really depends which kind of testing method you want to pass. And I mean, there are also other handles to further reduce the flammability. So it's really a matter of question of the formulation, which we can, with no doubts, assist, but it's hard to answer in general. That's why we give a rough number, how much you can reduce the flame retardant, but it also depends on the openness of the foam and so on. So it's multiple parameters. So it's not, so it really depends on the foam already existing. What is for sure, it helps you to further improve that.
Okay.
So one question from my side, that this surfactant can we use for molded foam applications?
I would say no, because molded foam application, you would have another formulation where this silicon surfactant will be not the fitting one, but we have the fitting ones in portfolio, which can also help here. So this will be more for a slabstock foam, but because in the slabstock foam you need more stabilization, and that would be, depending on the molded formulation, too strong.
And one more question that you mentioned that for this, if you use the surfactant, it will be provide the open cell structure. So we have seen that
Yeah.
if the structure is so open, that will also sometimes deteriorate the flame property. So how this things will be?
Yes. So what you can compare and why we texted here open cell structure. If you would use another silicon surfactant and have the same openness, so the same cell openness, the same airflow, you would have lower flammability with the L645. So that's how you can compare it. Of course, if you would further open up the foam and be way more open, then there can be a misbalance. But in generally, if, for example, you have an existing formulation, you pass the test, but you want further open up the foam structure because you want to further fine-tune the foam properties, then also L645 can help you because with more openness, still it provides you improved flammability or flame retardancy. Hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next question here in the chat box is GeoCell S30 will help to meet restricted substances requirement in the foam?
Yes. So it will help you to minimize the 2HA content. So if you exceeding the benchmark and also you exceed, for example, the total VOC, then the S30 will help you to minimize the VOC and to bring it to a lower threshold. But that depends really at which situation you are. It will not be the solution to fully replace the 2-ethyl hexanoic acid. Then you need to go to the D25 or the D10.
Okay. So next two questions are about L618 and 645. What is the major difference between L618 and L645?
Okay. Yeah, the difference between 618, which is an existing product in the market, and 645 is that the 645 is further reducing the flammability. So 618 will already bring you a reduced flammability, but the 645 will further improve that. So the structure was improved in a way that it further minimized the flammability. So the 618 is already a grade which can help you on that end, but then to further improve the 645 is even better. So just to give you an idea, if I would rank the impact, L540 AP will have the worst in terms of flammability, then there will be 618 and then the 645. So that will be roughly to give you a guideline.
Okay. So next question is GeoCell Catalyst G25 or G10 is tin based or tin free? If it is tin based, how is it REACH compliant? Isn't tin banned in EU REACH? So
it's still a tin-based technology, so it's still a stannous catalyst. From which perspective, tin-based catalysts, tin-2-based catalysts are not banned. It's what is restricted and what's now changed is the carboxylic acid. So the 2-ethyl hexanoic acid, which is part of the composition of the stannous octreate. This is what was changed to category 1B, but not in general stannous catalyst, so tin-2 catalyst. There needs to be distinguished between the organotin catalysts, which are tin-4, which is, for example, the DBTL, so the dibutyl tin laurate. This is restricted to being used in a flexible form, also by the REACH, but not in general stannous catalyst, so tin-2 catalyst.
Okay. Is just a minute. is there benefit will get on replacement of A1 with DMGEE, NIX A1, since both have similar amine properties?
Yeah, I mean, they will behave in a very similar way, yes. So they are both very strong blow amine catalyst, but both they are non-low emission grades. So this will be still impact your VOC strongly, and also the smell of the foam, depending on the process, and also at the production facility.
Okay, so another question, sir, you mentioned Geocell L8H4 can be utilized for compressed mattresses.
Yes.
Specifically,
Yes.
what is improved by incorporating this additive in formulation? Is it compression loss or it improves the sag factor of foam?
So this is a product which was especially designed for densities talking below 25 kg per cubic meter, because general tendency is if you're above 25, 28 densities, you will always, or most of the cases, if the formulation is well balanced, have good recovery and good recovery if you compress the foam. Then if you go lower, you have lesser material, you will have more water content. This has a detrimental effect on the recovery of the foam. And then the 884 can help you, and that's being shown in comparison to a lot of other grades, to improve, because the silicon surfactant always has an impact on the recovery of the foam. And this 884 turns out to be working very good in density below 25 in comparison to existing benchmarks.
Okay. There is another question. When we replace L618 with L540 AP, is there any adjustments to be done with catalyst dosage?
There will be minor adjustment. It depends if you want to keep the same cell openness, then you need to do a minor adjustment, but they will be not too big. But on that end, whenever this is implemented, always our technical experts in the areas will also assist that. But the difference will be not too big.
Okay, and then the next question, can we use L8H4 for hyper soft low density foams as well?
In principle, I would say yes. I don't know which density is being used, and also depends a bit on the content of the soft polyol. But in general, yes.
Okay, so these were the questions in the chat box. Any other question? We still have 15 minutes left. So if you have any questions, we can still discuss.
I still see one hand. I don't know, raised by JJ, but probably the question was already asked. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Yeah, actually,
Okay.
I got your answer. Sebastian, I got your answer, and that my question is that replacement of amine A1 by DMD. So that you explained already. So
Okay, good.
yeah.
Then thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there are, there is one more. Can we use GeoCell S30 below 10 density?
Yes, you can. That I would say yes. I mean, we need to see on the formulation, but in principle, I don't see an hindrance.
Okay, and then can we use EF230 in the VE foams?
Yes, you can. And this is one way to, or it's one of our grades for low emission, one of the latest ones. There are also others, so this should work. If it doesn't bring you the perfect reactivity, we have also other grades like the nice catalyst EF350, which is also a balanced low emission grade. So there are different kind of options. If it doesn't bring you the fitting reactivity in your existing formulation at the design setup you already have. So it's just one way, but yeah, this is for sure a good option you can try, as it is a balanced amine catalyst.
Okay, and then another question, can we replace L627 silicon for batch memory foam formulation?
Sorry, don't know if you get to the question correctly, but L627 should be replaced, or what
No,
was
can we
the point?
replace L627 silicon for
Yeah.
batch memory foam formulation? So replace with what that they have not mentioned.
Yeah,
So
that was why I was asking, because L627 is what you use in a chemical viscoelastic foam, which can be used in batch. So there are replacements, but yeah, that's why I'm not. For me, it's not clear with the question if I should. I can tell you that there's also the L629 Le2 as a replacement for the L627, which is lower in emission. But yeah, that's just to mention another option to make chemical viscoelastic foam, which are already based on L627. So the design silicons, the L645 and also the L540IP are not fitting for that kind of formulation and application. Hope that answered the question.
okay. Then is GeoCell D25 or D10 hydrolytically stable? Can it be diluted with water?
No, you can't. It will be probably stable for short term, but not for long term. So then we can't guarantee the performance and the quality of the product. No, you can't with water.
Okay. Okay, so are there any more questions? If there are no more questions, let us thank Dr. Sebastian for this insightful webinar, and it was very interactive, including all the components like surfactant, catalyst, and flame retardants, etc. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for taking time for this presentation.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity and all of the nice questions. And yeah, whenever you have other questions, please contact me or my colleagues. We are very happy to answer them.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.